Greetings, I am Tom Earl. On this week's episode, I interview poet, actor, and womanist Jessica Raquel.
Yep.
Check it out. Greetings, everyone. I am Tom Earl. Welcome to the celebration. As you know, this is my year of courage. We know you could be anywhere. So the fact that you are here sharing your greatest gifts, your energy, and your time means the world to us. I have an amazing guest. She goes by the name of Jessica Raquel. How's it going, Jessica?
How you doing? What's up?
Hey! You mind if I share with the good folks out there your amazing bio?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Jessica Raquel is a poet, actor, and womanist. She is a 2018 Florida A&M graduate. Jessica is a member Theta Nu chapter of Sigma Alpha Iota. She performed on stages, theaters, and venues across the world. Most recently, she just returned from the Fringe Festival in Edinburgh, Scotland. Jessica is passionate about genuinely telling the narratives of Black women through acting and poetry. How'd I do?
Very well. It was perfect. It's just Iota, but it was
Iota. Okay, I knew it. No, I probably blew that one. So, a bio can only do so much. What do you want to expand upon? If we were to do, if you really knew me, you know that. What can you share with us?
Now that's just an open door for everything. We can talk about acting, maybe like unfold those layers. It's really whatever you want, whatever kind of question, I'm here for it. But I love discussing acting and poetry, like my actual crafts. So
let's do some origin story. How did you get into poetry?
I started writing poetry in elementary school, and I didn't start getting into slam until Wally B found me, actually. And I went to my first poetry jam in high school. I think it was like junior year or something. And I ended up going to the district poetry jam, and that's where I met Wally. And I didn't place at all. Like, I didn't even get third place or whatever. But there was like a little flyer on the seat. And my mama and we actually, like, a few years ago in 2010, in 2010, we're watching the Brave New Voices like special. And so she was like, you should do something like that, whatever. And I was like, I ain't gonna do all that. And then that same night, I went to the computer and I was trying to find out, okay, how do I join a team? And the only team available was Team Rocket, but that was like hours away from me and I can't, commute there every day. So then in a loop around way, God and the universe, like, high five. And I ended up like in the same place where Wally B was, and he was creating the team for 2013 for Tampa. So I joined the team. 2013, we went to Chicago, Brave New Voices. Then we went to Philly. Then we went to Atlanta. Then I was on Future Core for Washington, D.C. and on Future Core for the Bay Area in 2017, I think. Yeah. So really, it was just like Wally B helped me get into slam. But I've been writing poetry since I was like a little teeny tot.
That's so awesome. And folks are making the connection. We've had Wally as a feature twice now, and many Brave New Voices and Wally B alums. So, it's great to have you here.
Yeah.
How do you think starting off in slam shaped you as an artist and as a performer?
It forced me to find my voice. Like, when I first started off, we were at the Mocha Brown Cafe Lounge, and I was like, I think I was reading off my paper or something. I was like all up in the page. You really couldn't hear me and all that. And then it's like, slamming, it even though there's like a point system in it and sometimes it's corrupted, the overall base is to force you to perform at your top potential and to write at your top potential. So it just forced me like to articulate and to like look at people, like find people in the audience to communicate to directly. It forced me to like bear down on my voice. And it just gave me this sort of like hustle mentality as far as like, if you want to say you're a poet, spit a poem right now. Like, that's how Wally B was. He was like, oh, you a poet? Spit a poem right now. And we would have to do it. And it slam poetry, like getting into slamming first, it forced me to walk in my light. Like, you're going to be about this, be about it. And this is the hard work you have to put in to be on that level. So
I love this. You could tell you're a poet already. So many quotable moments. Walking my light. The universe and God high-fiving. Like, I'm loving that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I resonate with that too. I think that outside of just the competition part, it really just invites you to keep elevating, to keep getting better and better. And that process, addicted to the process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So then how did acting become a part of it? Was that always from the beginning, or was that something you discovered? When did you discover your passion for acting?
It actually around the same time. Like, when I would write poetry as a child, I never really thought to like say it out loud. And then when I would act, I would always think I would have to do other people's like pieces and scripts and all of that stuff. So that's how those two connected. But acting, I really didn't get into working on acting until high school. And every year I chose like a theater elective, and I just maintained it. And then I got to college and majored in it. So it started at the same time as poetry, but I think I gave poetry a little more focus, I guess. I had more outlets, I had more mentors. But then when I got to college, I had more mentors that looked like me in acting. So I got to like see, okay, this is how you do this. This is how you communicate this way or whatever. But acting has just, it's shaped, it's God good, because they just work together so well. Like, the things that I learned in acting, I get to apply them to my poetry. And then how I communicate through poetry and the word choice and all of that affects how I act. So did I answer the question? They all started at the same time.
Yes. and they had like this symbiotic relationship where one influenced and gave fire to the other, and vice versa.
Definitely. Yeah.
So I'm familiar with Florida A&M, but for folks who aren't listening, tell me a little bit about your choice to go there. And you'd mentioned having, instructors and people who look like you and that diversity of representation. Talk to me a little bit about
that. Florida A&M is the best college in the world, the best institution in the world. But to scale it down, for me, I didn't really see college as an option too much. Like, it wasn't really like, if I go to college, okay, I'll probably go to USF, or UF. Like, I never really thought about venturing out, because it was like, I never really knew what my next step would be after high school. So the only application I put in was for Florida A&M, and that's the one that accepted me. Like, it was literally just, God was like, yo, you're going to this school, I don't care. And then that's what happened. And when I got there, like, I think the Essential Theater program, that's what it's called, is totally underrated. Like, as far as people don't know just how much of a gym it is. Like, I don't know, just being around, there's a heavy community influence at Florida A&M. Like, going through high school and having to go through a school system that taught me like white history, and I had like white teachers and instructors and white classmates. I never felt like I could find my identity. I didn't know who I was. But then I got to college, and there's people that look like me, that talk like me, that have been from where I've been from. Then there's people on the other side that have never seen what I've seen. A lot of my friends coming from down south weren't really like racism wasn't really like a thing that they saw as much. And me, I've seen a rebel flag every day of my life, but like, just being in a community where like people look like you, and they're trying to teach you things, and you're trying to teach them things. And sometimes we would be sitting in the classroom, and we wouldn't even be discussing like what was on the curriculum. Like, we would be talking about how to change the world and stuff, like it was just a great time of my life. Like, going to a Black institution and getting to see the history in the buildings, and then you hear the backstory behind the buildings and the backstory behind the people that the buildings are named after. It grounds you in a way that I feel like you can't find accessible. Like, it's, and the people, the resources, like, it just helped me become a well-aware Black person, and a Black woman who loves herself, like, enriching. So Florida A&M is just history, community, enriching. They say we party a lot, but we just know how to have a good time because we work so hard. The Marching 100 is the best band in the world. We already know that. Essential Theater is taking over. Sigma Alpha Iota. Yeah. It's everything.
We'll edit that last part, send it into Florida A&M. They can use this in their promo material. That was a excellent testimonial.
Thank you. It's so much.
So I feel like we've given folks a good intro. Is that on your water? Is that your, there we go.
It is.
For
sneak it in.
For the folks in the podcast, is that a sorority?
It's a fraternity.
Fraternity. Tell me a little bit about that.
Long story short, we learned in the process that sorority isn't necessarily a Greek word, or it doesn't have a Latin origin, I should say, versus fraternity, which has the Latin origin fraternitas or fraternita. I'm pronouncing it wrong, whatever. I'm country. But which means the brotherhood of sisters and the brotherhood of brothers and the brotherhood between brothers and sisters. So we just prefer that word because we're a brotherhood, but we're just a bunch of sisters. Yeah.
It's awesome. Appreciate that.
No problem.
So with this great foundation, this great intro, would you mind sharing with us one of your poems?
Not at all. Sure. I'll do one of my favorite ones. Okay. But the other two aren't memorized. I'm sorry. All right. Black women are trees, growing up and out, roots grounded, well-rounded. We are sycamores, more than mere bushes or shrubs, chestnut, cut from the hips of the hill, willow, oaks, and elm, strong wood skin. Black women are bold. Lip to hip, we expand whether man understand it or not. Wide as horizons, varying like sunsets, we are skyline fine. Divine as wine and sweet as the sap that trickles from our scalp, maple. Dancing in slow motion, palm, leaning over ocean's pine, redefined with scriptures in our bloodlines. And Sister Nature doesn't make mistakes. God didn't make earth without some earthquakes, so when we walk, the ground shakes. We use our walks to balance the gravel that we travel. Our feet don't take breaks. We walk with a twang. The way our hips hop like stereo speakers, we love it when our body language is beatbox, jukebox, juke joint, add a little hustle to the shuffle, let our toes point. We walk as if Nina Simone is playing the pads of our feet like piano keys. We let the horns in our shoes play the blues as we let swing songs play off our backs, arch like brass instruments, but still innocent. We play that Motown in the ground. We make our strides, let our heels take a break, and let our souls go for a ride. Call it Soul Train when we walk this way. Varying skin tones from young lady to full grown. Black women are trees, from our roots to our leaves, from our individuality to our strong mentality, not moved by the wind's whisper or a man's whistle. And life. We see life as a blessing and all the knowledge that we have learned as a necessity. That's why we wear our age rings like priceless accessories. We are more than what we choose to reveal above the surface, tucking our roots in their essential presence deep beneath the dirt on purpose, because we know that if we show more than the stars to small minds and closed hearts, that they would fear the galaxy instead of adore it. Come up with their own existential theories about how it was created instead of explore it. So we only reveal to you what you are prepared to see, because we were put on this earth to create, not intimidate. But no matter how much good we try to exhale oxygen, you still remind us of the bad we had to inhale carbon dioxide to produce such pure air. You breathe us, but you will still strip us of our layers, claim that we are one-dimensional when we ain't even expendable. We are more than what the industries choose to reduce us to: paper. Royal and regal, we carry it in our breasts, in our brains, like queens make a home in the rainforest. We reign, standing tall above the fields. We could never be plains. We protrude pulchritude. Black women are trees, down to earth, yeah, but we're still very free. And that was that one.
Yes. Fire. Appreciate that.
No problem. No problem.
What does that poem mean to you?
It's just who I am. Just like paying homage to my grandma, God bless the dead, my other grandma, my mama, all the women in my life, me, all the femmes. So even like non-gender binary conforming, like we're all in this. We're all trees. So yeah.
What was the process for writing that? While you were writing the analogy of the trees, when did it develop?
I'm trying to remember. A lot of times I just black out and I just write a poem. I know, excuse me, I think this time for this poem, it was because I saw a tree and like she literally looked like she was dancing, like Maple dancing in slow motion. And so I just started thinking like, wow, hold on, we got some similarities. They got afros, we have afros. You know, they got the brown bark, we got the brown skin. So I don't know, I just had fun with it.
I love it. And you've shared this one a lot publicly, I'm guessing.
Yeah, this is like my staple. Like I go to it. Yeah.
Have you had people come up to you and share with you how it impacted them?
I have. And it's surprising for me, like this poem, when I do it, I feel good. So I tend to forget like the process that I went through that I didn't feel so good writing it. Like, you know, I forget how it felt to be silenced and how it felt to be insecure and all of that while writing it. So now that I'm spitting it, I'm like, okay, I felt that, but I'm good now. So people will come up to me and be like, yo, that inspired me. Like I feel confident now. Sometimes I feel like I hate myself or whatever. Like people will go deep and I'm like, wow, it humbles me. It's like, okay, the message is still prevalent and relevant and people can still connect to it. And it's an honor. Like, yeah.
Well, it's an honor to hear the words. So we appreciate you sharing it with us.
No problem. No problem.
So maybe some folks might be listening and having that same experience you just talked about, where looking to you and hearing you say, you know, I at one time felt silenced and insecure. What was the process, or are some things you can point to that inspired you to take your voice back and to move into a place of courage, or however you would describe that process?
For me, what I did was, it was kind of like this is it, so make it work kind of vibe. I just like, okay, I'll focus on one because I'm a Gemini, so I go crazy. So one insecurity that I had for a long time was my nose. I felt like, yo, my nose is like huge. It's like, it's taking up half the face. Like, you know, I would just go crazy over it. And then I was like, okay, so then what are you going to do? You're going to get plastic surgery? And then I started thinking, okay, but this is what colonizers and your oppressors have done to your people for years. They've knocked our noses off our statues. So why would you do that to yourself? And then that thought process led to, okay, maybe I like the way I look. Maybe I like the way my skin looks. Maybe I like the way I talk. Sometimes I sound like a man. I don't care. You know, like I think the first step is realizing that there are no mistakes when creating you. But that doesn't necessarily translate to my transgender people and my queer people. I think that's a different story. So this isn't for them. This is for people who like, it's sort of insecurities as far as like the way your face looks or the way you talk or whatever, or just different attributes about yourself. I just feel like the first step is realizing that, yo, God made you like this. You're beautiful. So let's flip this around and let's find positives about it. And it's hard. You know, like if you've been when people say you're your worst critic, it is so true. Like we find things about ourselves and we maximize them and just magnify them. And they're not even that big of a deal. You know, stop thinking that there's a certain Eurocentric standard to beauty. There isn't. You know, like beauty is really in the eye of the beholder. So once you do that, once you make that decision to embrace that feature, start putting those positive thoughts and images physically in your life. Like I had to start following women who had large noses. I had to start Googling images of Black women with large noses. Like you gotta follow through with it, because if not, you're gonna fall back and become insecure again. And then also learn the difference. I know I keep talking, I'm sorry. But also learn the difference between humility and insecurity. So like being humble is not at all the same as being insecure. Being insecure means that you think something is wrong with you, and then you also think that you need to adjust yourself to get to a place where you're worthy of love or you're worthy of existence. Humble is, yo, I know I'm can I curse?
You can curse.
I know, okay. I know I'm the shit, but I also know that I can be better. So like, know that difference. And just a lot of it is journaling every day. A lot of it is praying. A lot of it is meditating. And it's forcing yourself to listen to positive music, positive people that embrace what you look like or embrace whatever insecurity you may have. I hope that answered it.
That was fire.
Okay.
And you were giving not only the philosophy, but action steps we could implement. Mm-hmm. That was awesome. So, you know, the seat's yours, so you don't have to apologize for talking at all. That's the whole point.
Okay, cool. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
That was powerful.
Thank you.
Really appreciate sharing that. You know, in the last part of your bio, it says that you're passionate about genuinely telling the narratives of Black women through acting and poetry. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about that.
We, Black women specifically, and Black femmes, we are stigmatized a lot. We have to deal with hella stereotypes, and it translates into the industry. Like, we're typecast, or we're seen as this one-track actor that can only do this and only do that, or the characters that they choose for us are two-dimensional. Like, I just want to tell our story. Like, I want a woman of color to give me her narrative or to give me her script, and then as a woman of color and as an actor, I genuinely tell that story. I'm tired of our stories being lost in translation. That's the best way to sum it up. I'm tired of our stories being chopped and screwed for laughs or chopped and screwed for dramatic effect. You know, we're always crying. It's like we're victimized, and we're well. Okay, let me get my words right. So in some movies, we'll be depicted as this weak person who needs someone to save her, who is like she can't handle herself, whatever it may be, and then a strong Black man or whatever figure or whoever it is comes in and saves us. Or in another movie, will be this aggressive woman who just needs a space to be vulnerable, and she's never given that space. So then she has to shut people out, but she isn't humanized. I'm just in that place now that I've been given the tools and the techniques. I'm ready to use them. So at the end of the day, I'm ready to humanize us again. I feel like people are just making us into these caricatures, and that we're not that. We're so deep and we're so layered, you know? So it's like, okay, we got all this material come out there. Now we need some actors to come and tell our stories. Or even if I'm going to write my own pieces, I want to listen to a woman and hear her story and then tell it for her, instead of just like bulldozing her voice, you know, and making her out to be this like one layer person. So that's what I mean by genuinely tell our narratives. Like, I want us to be humanized at the end of the day. I want people to see that, like, yeah, some of these stereotypes are accurate, but we're still human, and we're not the only demographic that has stereotypes. And if we think about where stereotypes stem from, you know, it's a lot. But yeah.
That's powerful. I appreciate you sharing that.
No
and
problem.
I'm sure a lot of people listening right now, some people are probably listening while they're working, stopped typing and started snapping. So I appreciate that.
No problem.
So you've just gone through a university system where I'm sure you took classes outside of your major. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, at this point, you've been introduced to a lot of different ways to address, you know, creating equity and a world free from discrimination. Mm-hmm. What for you, the power of storytelling resonates the most with you as this is the avenue I want to use to accomplish all the things you just said? What is it about specifically storytelling that resonates with you as this is the way I'm going to enter this?
it's what our elders did. It's what our ancestors did. They all told our stories, like, and were passed down. Like, even in my own family, back in the day, they didn't have Google, so a lot of things were word of mouth. So, like, a lot of my history, I retained it from my grandma telling me, or from my great grandma, God bless the dead, telling me, or from cousins, or my dad. So storytelling I think it's just so powerful in the sense that it's underrated. People don't know how much of a tool we were born with, how much of a tool the mouth is. Like, we would, like, you would hear about, okay, let's take like something small and like mundane. So, like, you would hear about a class being canceled, like, word of mouth, before you would check Blackboard and find out it's canceled. So think about how powerful that is if we were to, like, spread information about how to get food to food deserts, how these certain remedies can cure this without you having to go and eat these chemicals. Like, some of these pills and all of that are just straight up like chemicals. So, like, it's really just about a system of transmitting information, and just transmitting, like, locations, like, go here for safety, go here for security. This is a safe space. Like, I would just want to take that and combine it with my craft and, like, kind of sort of tie the knot. So, like, yeah, people, when they think of actor, they immediately think of entertainer versus storyteller. I think storyteller might be a little bit more powerful, because through story is how you retain knowledge, and it's how you sustain knowledge, and how you prevent history from repeating itself, at least the negative parts of it, because we all know that, like, oppression is cyclical. So the only way to break that system is by learning the methods that our elders used to break that system, and then to just repeat them, and to fix them how we need to fit this generation and this situation. So storytelling is my way of doing that. It's my way of taking something that everyone loves, entertainment, and combining that with everyone not so much cares for, which is change, or which is revolutionary acts, and just combining them and making them accessible for everyone.
I love that. I love that. And I've found, similar to what I think you were just highlighting in the end, that a lot of the messages that we bring in spoken word or acting or a movie or whatever storytelling tool you're using, if I was just to tell it to somebody directly, they'd be like, I don't want to hear it. But,
right.
When it's through story, they're like, dang, that was deep. So, I love that you just highlighted that.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to share another poem with us? Sure.
And I already have it pulled up because I came prepared.
Appreciate it.
Okay. So since we're talking about storytelling, I guess I'll find a piece that's kind of like that-ish. All right. This one's called Bathing a Simile. We be black soap on the rope. We so clean, so new Negro smell, so fresh coat of skin, so spit shine polished, so spin cycle, so post-slavery abolished, minty fresh, so pressed, so ironed, so washed up, we're hung out to dry. We so black soap on the rope that we can't even smell ourselves without causing commotion, without disturbing the peace, without dirtying up our white. Like, love me and hate you are synonymous, like black power is a slur, like sugarcoating and cotton cushioning our essence will make it less offensive, like you won't be offended anymore by our excellence, just because black ain't so inclusive when it comes to accepting intrusion. Accepting the same hands that put black soap behind bars, shower gelled and imprisoned till the shower becomes the only source of cleansing. Meanwhile, the Afro population of the nation are stationed inside of every bathroom in America, wash and clean and dry and repeat till we whitewash our hysteria. Mr. Clean Magic sponge bathing in pre-made bubble baths. Watch that skin curl up and fall off like hail. This is hell like paradise with shower gel jail cells. Clean your peace. We so clean. Eyes bright like nightlight in dark hall, teeth them white like dove bar, like bird never been caged and still don't sing when caught in bars, dove bar. Like, does it dawn on you that in order to be ivory, you must wash the zest off you? No longer suave because they begun to caress the black off you. Like you pine sold out for a couple mean greens. You so clean. so fabuloso with your 409 mind, so Windex blind and Brillo pad hard, so Clorox thoughts and Lysol linguistic habits, so ID without black card, so cleansed of your color, of your vibrance, of your skin, as if they were all sins you needed forgiveness for. Apologetic, be the minorities forced to swallow our cultures piece by piece to make room for the gargling of the majority's standards and beliefs, mouthwashed. Maybe that's why it burns my throat to have something so unwelcomed inside of it for too long, to have tongue bitten and swallowed, to have rope tightened around voice. Maybe that's sore throats. That's why sore throats have never been our choice. We so hands washed before we hand them their food, so house clean before they invade, so mouthwash before they silence us, so brainwashed before they hang us out to dry, so sorry, so apologetic, so mild, so understated, so whisper, so tiptoe, so hidden, so conditioned to thinking we were ever dirty in the first place. Because cleanliness is next to consciousness, right? And that's the end of that one.
Woo! Woo! If y'all had any doubts in your mind if Jessica was a lyricist, you need to go home.
Man, thank you. Thank you.
Tell me about the editing process of this one. Did you, in a free write, get all of that wordplay, or did you have to go back and kind of add in some of the fine tuning?
That actually, where was it? The pine sold out for a couple mean greens. I thought of, I thought of that like, so I don't know when that was. And I just wrote it down on my phone and I was like, I'm gonna use that in a rap. And then I was like, wait a minute. And I thought of the idea of cleaning like our black off. And then that actually began the poem. And I was like, okay, I can't start off with my only fire line. Like I got to lead up to it, make a climax. And then I edited this thing like at least 14 times. Like, and this was something I wrote years ago. So it's just now getting to the point where, okay, I can share it now. Yeah.
Wow. 14 years in the making.
Yeah, basically for every, yeah. That was a long time.
I loved sugar coating and cotton cushioning. Damn.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before, cotton cushioning, but that's like, have you heard someone say that before?
No.
You need to write a thought piece and coin that phrase, because that's such a better phrase of like when, white sugarcoating, cotton cushioning, like white splaining, like you should coin that. I'd get that out as a thought piece because that's going to catch up. That's really good. That's so specific to the history of what racist sugarcoating actually looks like. Cotton cushioning covers it so much better. Wow.
I'm gonna write that down.
You heard it first, folks.
Yeah. This is how it all starts.
Yes. Wow. Oh my gosh. That's one of those where you're just assaulted with the brilliance. You're just like, pause, wait, I want to, what was that like? Oh.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that one was fun to write because I was just like, literally, I would look around the house for different like cleaning things, and it was like, how can I make this work? Yeah.
Doesn't it just dawn on you?
That one, I was really hoping people would get that. Like, I was trying to find name brand soaps. Hopefully, yeah.
Oh wow. Did you say that I was thinking of using this for a rap? So do you also do music?
I do. Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, I prefer rapping, but a lot of my frat sisters tell me I need to sing more. Like when I was in college, I would sing like with them a lot. So I want to officially like one day release something where I'm like singing too. But I do a few rap songs. And that's actually on the thing that I'll talk about later on Sample. I have a rap song. So, but yeah, I'm just trying to get my hands on everything, Yeah.
I can hear it. I could hear it in your first poem you did that it almost sounded like the beginning was like the chorus. You went into the verse part where it sounded more like lyrical. And on this one too, I was like, oh man, I want to put a beat behind this.
Yeah.
You have such rhythm in the way you perform your poetry that I can hear that it makes sense.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and folks listening can't see, but behind Jessica is cassette tapes and CDs. Yes. And so I was like, oh, it's just speaking to me. I have a feeling she's also a musician.
Yeah, my frat brother made this for me, so that's dope.
That is dope. That's cool. Well, we gave it a shout out. Let's go all in on it. So you have a new album out on SoundCloud. You want to talk about it?
Yeah. So it's called Sample. And I don't know if people are familiar with snarkitecture, but if you are, look it up. That's all I'm going to say. But a picture of me and my two brothers in one of the exhibits, the beach, when it came to Tampa with all of the white balls or whatever, we were like chilling in it and we took a picture. And I held on to that picture and I was like, I have to use this for a cover one day. And then I was starting to think like, okay, I just graduated college. I need to kind of put something out there just to kind of stay in people's minds, and stay in people's hearts. So then I put Sample out, which is the name of it. It's called Sample because that's literally all it is. It's 4 tracks, one song, one poem, 3 poems, actually, 1 song. But just listen to it from start to finish and just let it take you for that ride, I think is the best way to put it. And for Fade, for my musicians out there, I tried something and used a little music theory. So basically, the song is in, don't make me lie, I think it's in C major. And I use an F major chord, an A minor chord, an A major, oh God. Okay, but I use 3 chords and basically the chords spell out fade. And that's what the song is. So listen to that. But yeah, it's just something to just evoke some kind of emotion. Hopefully it makes you write something. Hopefully it makes you do something. Yeah.
Dang, your intelligence, you're just hitting us on all levels.
I'm trying. Gotta use the degree somehow. Yeah.
Somehow, folks aim for one way. You're using it in like layers that 15 years from now will be like, that's what Jessica meant.
That's what it, yeah. Man, hopefully.
I love it. What is womanism to you and how has it shaped your perspective?
Womanism is our answer to feminism. It's more inclusive. So like women of color, Black women of color, it's our activism because the origins of feminism shut us out. We weren't a part of that movement in the beginning, So womanism is our way of taking our voice back in a movement that was supposed to give us voice and instead silenced us yet again. And I think privilege has allowed feminism to become more respected and more well-known versus womanism, which we're working from the ground up. And we're just, we don't have a privilege to fall back on to let our movement be heard and respected equally. But womanism means to me just everyone is a womanist. I mean, like if you're a Black woman, if you're a Black femme, if you don't believe in conforming to a gender, you can still be a womanist. Like it's really just about giving that power and giving the voice back and giving the credit back to whom it is due, which is our original matriarchs, our women of color, our Black women. And Alice Walker said it best. I think I don't want to mess it up, but she was like, womanism is to purple what feminism is to lavender, or vice versa. I hope I didn't flip it around, but yeah.
And tell me about how Black women and Black femmes are in a unique position in our society to, lead the vanguard or be a part of providing frameworks and solutions for creating a world free from oppression.
So basically, like, what makes us, what equips us?
Mm-hmm. I guess to give context, womanism, it's a school of thought or a theory or a framework different from feminism, like you were saying, that works to create a world free from discrimination. And when you look at anything from Black Lives Matter to the Black Panthers, anything like that, it's always been Black women, Black femmes, Black queer women, at the
Yeah.
forefront, the vanguard of creating solutions, thought, all of these things that we can use as a society to create a world free from oppression. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on like where that comes from.
That is something that is just deeply rooted and God-given. And it's almost like a power, like something not of this world that was just bestowed upon us. Like we are the best of both worlds. We're empathetic and we're strong. When we're given the space to be vulnerable, we allow these layers to unfold. Like I think we see things differently is the best way to put it. I don't know if we're too much omniscient, but we're pretty close. We're just it's hard to put into words. It's magical. Like it's a power that is just innate. And I think years of being shaped by our elders and being shaped by our ancestors, it's just evolved on its own. It's like this entity that has just like, it's a soul thing. It's a soul tie. It's spiritual. So, and I think because we're put in a place like the patriarchy has us at the bottom of the food chain. So when you're put at the bottom of the food chain, it just makes you like a fighter. Like, so we have that. So now we have this, which we already had, that fighter mentality, that fighter instinct. But now we've got that combined with these other powers, this love, this creation. We give birth literally to generations. You know, we come up with food when there is no food. We come up with solutions when there is no other way, because who do we look to? Like, who else is going to help us but us? So that's like, I guess just, it's something innate and it's something spiritual that gives us this power to be at the forefront of the movements. It's something that just can't be put into words. It's one of those things that you've got it. You know that you got it in you. It's in your stomach. And circumstances have shaped that even more. You know, like you put somebody in a fighting predicament, I'm going to figure out a way to fight my way through it. You put up a wall, I'm going to break through that. So yeah, nature and nurture. I don't know.
Yeah, and the spiritual realm I heard you bring in too.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. I know I put you on the spot, and I appreciate you going deep and vulnerable and being honest and authentic with myself and those listening. So I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. Yeah.
Would you be willing to share your last poem with us before we sign off?
Yes. Okay, let's see. And this one is 4 pages too. It's okay. All right. So this is the most recent. This is actually the last poem that I've written. So it's called Chameleon. Did I wake you, chameleon? Resting in transition, complacent position, have you fixed your stance more than your eyes could ever be on object? Do they wander because they are the freest thing on you? Have you always been able to see both sides and not yourself? Have you forgotten what you look like? Does it hurt to change colors so often, to go back and forth like trampoline? Would you bungee jump to your death in hopes of resurrection? Are you bored with health, with the trees you've attached yourself to? Have you detached your mind too? Does it bounce from point to point like your pupils? Do you pray for vision? Do you pray at all? Or are you just that to your predator? How have you made friends with bottom feeders? Why do you believe you can relate to these serpents when the only thing that connects you are your perspectives from the ground? Did you forget you were first reptile, before a mirror, before some other's reflection? Why do you fling yourself from leaves when you already know what falling feels like? What rush you must get? What thrill must you get in order to be satisfied, to be devoured? Why dine with snakes? Have you death wish? Have you no wish at all? Have you no sense? Have you no senses at all? Does it hurt when you squeeze into concrete? Force rock skin out of fleshy tissue? Does it feel foreign? Nomad with more baggage than tourist, take your backpack off. Lizard with tight grip, let go. Let go of the stem, of the branch, olive or no, of a tribe you don't belong to, of a clan that never welcomed you, that would rather you suffer so they may have entertainment to accompany their third course, third corpse, first body. Don't let them identify you. Don't let them claim you. Chameleon, has the paint from your skin mixed? From your many shades, has it bled through? Have they concocted some off shade that consumes your interior? Have they painted you inferior? Has the foreclosure begun from the inside out? Has the left of your chest changed addresses? Are you remodeling? Why does your rebuild look like destruction, like acquiesce, like slightly lost at protest? Like, wait, what are we fighting for? Like, check all of the above. Like, how long have I been resting? Like, when did this turn to first person? Like, when did we change places? Like, chameleon into iguana, they always confuse us anyway. Like sibling and stranger, I always confuse us anyway. Chameleon, when did you choose this? Did you choose this? Who told you this was an option? Who tricked you? Be it the serpents that led you this far, that fed you this far, that fattened you thus far. Do you feel yourself being prepared for something? Do you smell them roasting you? Have you forgotten your own scent, so you've confused it with smoke and mirrors? Is the heat comforting because it never judged you? Though we assumed it was a result of judgment, hasty assumption, assuming you were being punished for something and not saved, assuming God left you when he has only begun to find you, when he has only begun to peel back the colors, the pigments, expose melanin, chip away at hardened sediment. It was only supposed to protect you, built a wall around you. Did he reach over? Have you forgiven yourself for not making it high enough? For not making doors, windows, chameleon, camouflage from what? Who is hunting you? Who has fired warning shots and missed, but did not fail at shaking you? Who said jump and didn't catch you? Untucked tongue, speak. May it make your enemies tremble. May you see your friends shake before you. May they reveal themselves to you. May they bear reflective flesh. May you finally see yourself again. May you remember before you forget permanently. May this pull the rug from under you. May you trip. May it remind you of how good it feels to be getting up. May you teach me. May I learn. May your birthday come around and you celebrate. May you eat cake and ice cream and sweet shit that gives you cavities and Harlem shakes. May you scowl. And then may that scowl break. May it crack in half and only leave the good parts. May you only keep the good parts of the bodies you have stepped over, the discarded fragments of the fallen you have walked amongst. May we fall too like you and get up. And you help us up because you remember how to stand, climb, and not feel like you're forgetting something, knowing that you're leaving things behind. May they stay there. May you look back one more time and not be tempted and not regret, second guess. May this second chance change you. May these seconds make you loathe leftovers, overdone, cyclical, microwave gratifying. May you preheat the next oven you lie in. May you not begin to bake without all your ingredients first. May you check yourself with toothpick. May you not overcook. May you watch yourself transform into the cuisine you were destined to be. Not the fast food bullshit you think you succumbed to. Not these frozen food dudes that have claimed you, not the trifling non-perishable MFs that blame you, that mock you for having an expiration date, for being so chilled, for being made of fresh product, for having been grown from garden. May the grocery baggers know how to place you standing up in your own bag, paper because you're woke like that, no receipt because you will never return to this state again, this state of being unidentifiable. May you have no label but be easily scanned. May they bring you up as a man, not a chameleon, not a reflection, but who is reflected in the life he has brought into this world, in the intelligence that drowns you, and the music that gets stuck in your head. May life's fiascos never leave you lupe. May you be the coolest, never chasing the cool. May you work as a reverse archaeologist, accept your very treasure is sunshine. So when some shine through the holes that you have drawn, may you bathe in them and not sizzle in the light that surrounds you, even when all you've seen is darkness lately. May this Spike Lee spark you to do the right thing without days. May you school the she's that thought they made you, that thought they took your heart. They gotta have a little more to better and best you into blues that don't fit, that aren't the right size. May you stop trying on other dudes' clothes. May you be too good for wrinkles. May you get something out of the store for once because you want it. Did I wake you, chameleon? If not, then I'll try again. That's that poem.
Yes. That poem, all the other poems seem really important to you, but this poem seemed to be something like urgent. Like there seemed to be, I felt an urgency in you, the recipient of the poem, wanting the message to come to them. Am I misinterpreting that?
No, that's right on. Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? Can you expand upon that?
I think this poem is it's personal, and it's like you said, it's a message that has a lot of urgency behind it because of who the audience is. I have a couple people in my life through college and just through my lifetime and family that I want them to hear this poem and they receive the message. Yeah.
We'll appreciate you sharing it with us and hope that the folks listening to this right now, that it serves them in the way that you intended it to.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about being a part of the Fringe is it Film Festival? Fringe Festival? Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, the Fringe Festival in Edinburgh, Scotland is the largest international theater festival, or I guess, theater performing arts festival. They've got different realms. They've got the spoken word category. I think there's a music category. Don't quote me. There's a comedy category and then there's a theater category. And I went with the FAMU Essential Theater and our production of Indisha Ida Mae Holland's From the Mississippi Delta. It's a play. We took that play to Scotland, and we were the first HBCU in the history of the festival to participate. Wow. And I was like, wow, because if you check the history of this festival, it's been around for quite some years. So for us to be the first HBCU, it's 2018. We were like, this is humbling, but it's about time. Like, that's crazy. And then for us to be, it's a 3-person cast, and all 3 people are Black women. So, and it's a Black woman's story, and it's like just a biography, and it's telling her from her birth to her grandmother's passing, and just, it goes deep. It's very layered. So just being like, so with carrying that sort of like, I guess, honor, carrying that with us over to Scotland, and then seeing the different plays and the different productions, it really put into perspective of just how powerful, like I said, storytelling is, because we're crossing overseas, telling this narrative to people who, this might be their first time seeing Black people, or at least seeing Black Americans. So they have no idea of what our story is. They only see what is projected. And usually that projection is negative and it's just inaccurate. So being able to show these people, like, this is our story, and we're not stereotypes, and we're eloquent, but we choose which vernaculars to be eloquent in, because a lot of people also think, you have to speak this jargon in order to be considered eloquent. Eloquence is just a matter of being efficient when you communicate, So like a lot of the piece is written in AAVE, so it's just straight up African American vernacular. There's a lot of like idioms that are straight up Southern. The dialect is it's very country. So being able to like share that story and to just be genuine and honest and to just give life and light to this Black woman's tale of matriarchy, it was a blessing. And then getting to like just the small things. I hiked the mountain. That was fun. That was my first time out of the country and overseas. And we met people from, we met this theater from New York. They were from the Bronx, and it was a Latinx production. And theirs was called, I think, Gender of Attraction. And it was so cool because it was like queer education, but from a person of color's perspective, So it was like, just, we were making moves for our people over there. Like, we were showing them like, we're here and we're going to tell you our story. We're tired of you seeing the wrong version. And it just like being on the Royal Mile leading up to the castle, going to the military tattoo, and just being in a place where every day you're waking up to create or you're waking up to network. It was a blessing, And then I found out too that we got 4 stars from the festival. We sold out every night. Like, we just kept making history, and I just give all glory to God. Like, it was just humbling to be in that place. Like, the Fringe Festival, look it up. And if you can go, definitely make that a trip. Yeah.
Mm. Well, all of us back home, we were supporting you, seeing all the highlights on Instagram, but it's so awesome to hear your energy and enthusiasm. And like you were saying, the storytelling on an international level and bringing that perspective. So, it's awesome to hear. I appreciate you sharing that with us.
No problem.
As you may have heard me say at the beginning, this is my year of courage.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I did that is, in addition to my personal life, I wanted to have everyday conversations with people about what courage means to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been asking each of my guests, and so I'll ask you, what is your definition of courage for your life?
Fulfilling my purpose, like having enough faith in knowing what my purpose is and having enough faith in the Creator to know what the path is to achieve that goal. That's what courage means to me and the point that I'm at in my life right now. So it's a lot of saying yes, and it's a lot of taking risks, and it's in a lot of things that we second guess, like the courage to love yourself, the courage to accept a compliment, which is hard sometimes. So just fulfilling my purpose and having the faith and knowing that I'm doing the right thing. I think that's courage.
I appreciate that, and I resonate with that. So for the folks listening, you've probably connected the dots that if Jessica is our poetry feature for the podcast this month, she is also our poetry feature for this Sunday's live and online expression session. So that is September 23rd at noon if you're on the West Coast, 2 p.m. if you're in Central, 3 p.m. if you're on the East Coast, 8 p.m. if you're in London, 8 p.m. if you're in Nigeria. And that is 2 hours long. You can attend from anywhere in the world. We start off with an awesome writing workshop. You don't have to have any writing experience at all. And the whole experience culminates with Jessica sharing a feature and blessing us with even more poetry. So if you want to check that out, head to tomrell.com/events or the show notes for this episode. Once again, that's this Sunday, September 23rd. We hope you check it out. Jessica, I want to affirm and thank you so much for sharing your gifts, your time, your energy, for going deep, being vulnerable, being courageous, being inspiring, for all that you brought to this episode and you bring to the world. I thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure. Where can folks listen to Sample, your new album, and where can folks connect with you online to tell you how much they appreciate you?
Excuse me. I'm still editing my website. So for now, Instagram is always a thing. I always keep that popping. So it's Jessica Raquel _actor, and that's all connected. And then in my bio is a direct link to the sample. And then you'll also be able to access other projects. But yeah. And then I'll obviously, like, once the website is up, once my Facebook page is right, I'll be able to post that. But everything is through Instagram. Yeah.
Perfect. For folks on the go, tomrell.com/Jessica, tomrell.com/JESSICA, tomrell.com/Jessica is where all of the links, show notes, everything that you want to get your hands on if you're on the go and didn't have time to catch that. Jessica, I'd like folks to have the last word. So what would you like to invite my listeners to think about, consider, to be, to do? What is your invitation to those listening?
Actions manifest from words. The universe responds to the energy that you put out there, scientifically.
I love it. I appreciate that. Jessica, thank you once again for your poetry, for your gifts, and for being the feature for this Sunday's expression session. It means the most to me. And folks listening, tune in this Sunday, but be sure to send Jessica a little message on Instagram and tell her how much you appreciate her. So thank you once again.
No problem.
And those listening, as always, we're wishing you peace and blessings. One more thing. I'd love to continue the conversation. Feel free to join me at tomrell.com/join. Subscribe below, or let's connect on social media. Tom Earl Artist. Thanks again for watching.